Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, one of the important things that when we are releasing social games, one of the most important things we need to keep in mind is how we monetize the game, how we make money, and that's one of the points you covered in the game as well in your presentation. So from my experience of social games, I have seen that while playing Farmville, I could easily go, at the time it was Zynga's first major title. So at that time I could go from, I could go pretty high, pretty fast in the game without buying premium cash with real money. But when it came to Citadel, then within the first few levels, I felt that the game is compelling me to spend real money to get premium cash, speed up things, so that I could progress faster. Otherwise, my progress was a lot slower than what it was in Farmville. So do you think it's important for a new company to first build a user base which recognizes the brand, recognizes the company's games before going for an aggressive monetization strategy, or can it be pulled off at an initial stage as well, in your experience?
Okay, so you were talking about the difference between Farmville and the monetization process that was there, and Cityville, and Farm you felt like you could go further without paying, and City you felt like you
Cityville was more aggressive in terms of monetization.
And then your question was, should you go for player base or monetization first, essentially, right?
Yeah, and also whether you should build a base, like make your brand recognizable, make sure that you have a user base before going for an aggressive strategy.
Okay. So really simple on the business front. If you have a brand but no money, you might go out of business soon, right? So the reality is you have to solve your own strategy according to your finances and everything in the company. But my take is figure out how to make a fun game first, and think about the monetization in the process, because if your game's not fun, nobody's going to play it, you're not going to make any money anyways, right? So if I had to focus on one thing, I say make a great game, and as you call it, build an audience base. I just say build a player base of people who enjoy and like your game, and the rest will come to you on that. Okay? Let's come a little closer, right here on the edge right there. Is this information helpful for you guys? I'm trying to give you the real world exact answers. Same stuff I tell the teams. Okay?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. This is Dharam here. I represent Sony. Very fundamental question. I'm not a gamer. I'm not a developer. I'm not a tester. I just came here to see the market, where things are going. So, very fundamental question. As you are a veteran in the industry, what you see social game versus console game, and what is the next generation to that? Okay. From the business point of view, from the market capture point of view, not from the people point of view.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to give you an answer which is, of course, colored by my history of making console and PC games, and then the fun I've had making social games. I don't know. I don't know if it's in me right now to spend 2, 3, 5 years making one game. That's a long time, and I call that a big bet in Las Vegas. It's a big single dice roll. $20, $30, $50 million to create a AAA product, which you have to create in that space to be successful. That's a lot of money and a lot of time. And as a game maker, I go, what if it doesn't work? I might have spent a couple of years doing that. So my sense is that's going to create a lot of pressure on teams and companies to make those work better. And it's a little bit like the movie business and AAA movies. Have like Avatar come out, and that there's no way the low starting filmmaker could ever compete with that. And it's going to take a long time to try to get there, and you might navigate your way through that path in 5 years, maybe 10 years, it might take 20. With social games, the talent base, developer base can start today. It might take 6 months to make a game, maybe a little longer if they're kind of confused. But they can generate products faster. So in the net result of the business, I believe there's going to be growth that's going to happen faster and exponentially in that compared to the traditionally slower process that happens in AAA title console world. And so back to the developer point of view, I think when you got people that are motivated and interested in this space and can move rapidly, you're going to see growth into it. And the other one might lose market share mindset. I think the other piece is that until consoles get real social, real connectivity. You can connect and play with a headset, and it's pretty hardcore, right? You can get past all the 13-year-olds cursing at you all the time, right? The social game space, sit in front of your PC, on your phone. I think that's where a lot of the heat's going to be. Right there in the second
Thank you.
Sure.
My question essentially is about male and female gamers, because you've worked for a very specific male audience previously in your career, and now you're working for a very broad audience base. So, from your experience as a designer as well as a product manager, what do you think is the female equivalent, which is for a male gamer like killing a zombie? As in, you give a male gamer a shooter game, blow some heads off, do something. It's easy and it's fun to play for a male gamer. What do you think is a female equivalent for something similar?
So the question is, hardcore male gamers in the console world, first-person shooters, you know what they like and you give that. What would be the equivalent in this world? Well, two pieces. I'll tell you what I know women and casual women and Facebook players want as women, but then I'm going to give another piece of information after that. So what we know is women like to decorate. Women like to nurture. All right, these are just obvious things. Women like changing the clothes on their avatars. All right, so these are things that are attractive to them, but those don't necessarily make a great game. You still have to have a great game inside of it, right? It'd be similar to saying a guy, a 17-year-old kid likes a hardcore first-person shooter on a console, but if all he does is sit there and shoot his gun over and over, it's going to be boring, right? You got to give some stuff around it. Now, I know that that's what women in this space want. But like I said, that doesn't make a full game. So when I think about it, I think about what's the full experience. Is it, is it can we do, like with farming, you're nurturing the crops and the animal and you're decorating your space, right? So that ties together very nicely. So that's how I think about it. Not so much of what does this exact woman want and how do I tap into that, but the broader experience that I can deliver. And definitely based on what they want, but not just so narrowly. Okay. There's somebody else. Go ahead, right there. Yeah.
Hi Mark, do you think the lessons of social games can be applied to learning also? I mean, have you ever thought in that direction?
Yeah, I have. So as a question is, can the experience of social games and what we know about how to make them interesting to people be applied to learning? One of the key things we found on Farmville is we've got people calling us, some of business associates especially, would call us and say, you know what I love about this game? My kids sit with me, they learn a little bit about basic business. Invest in a crop, come back later, take it, and make some profit out of it. So I think that's there. I haven't delved into how to try to do it, but I think it all comes back to what does the audience want, and what's the goal, and how can you make that experience fun. I think when you make anything fun, people learn better. Okay. Right over here.
Hi Mike, this is Ganesh. I'm a solution architect from United Health Group. I have a few questions. First question is, there is some basic purpose of building some social sites, like Orkut and your Facebook. What is the basic purpose, like what exact thing is motivates to build this kind of games?
Okay, so the question was with social site, what motivates us to build games?
And what kind of message you just want to pass from your different kinds of games?
Okay, the thing that I like about, and I mentioned that social networks like Facebook, they're an amplifier. They make it easier for people to share what they think about the game that they're playing. I mean, I always knew from PC days that if I had a great game, people would tell their friends about it, and that was really where the success came from, because in our genre, there wasn't a lot of advertising dollars, right? So that's what we focused on, and I love Facebook. It was just easier. Hey, send a message to your friend, ask them to help you out. So that's what I like. It's an amplifier, an accelerator, and as a game maker, more people get to see my work. And that's a lot of fun.